Hi guys, today I wanted to talk to you about pre-flop strategy and how you should tackle the first round of betting. It's a very, very important part of the game. Now, where you sit in relation to the button and the dealer, so whether you're in early, late, or middle position on the table is very, very important in how you actually look at that first round of betting, and also obviously what type of hands you have and so forth. Now, there's a lot to take in when you're trying to think, okay, what do I need to do when I'm at that first round of betting? Now, we'll look at first position. So we're looking very, very early position on the table. It's arguably the worst position on the table. Well, it is the worst position on the table. All right, so um, one really big piece of advice I'll give you that you should really take on board when you're the first to act before the flop, get into a habit of actually calling instead of raising. Okay. Now, even if you've got a really strong hand like a pair of tens, jacks, queens, king, aces, ace king, ace queen, and ace jack, what this does, it allows you to see what everyone else does, and allows you to act appropriately. Okay. Now, possibly turning the tables and getting someone else pot committed with an inferior hand. Now, a quick example of this is, say for example, you're dealt pocket rockets, pair of aces, right? You call like you're supposed to. Now, when someone else raises like you knew they would, because they will, because people who are in that middle late position, they try and be a bit more aggressive, okay? And they will raise over the top of you. So call, this person will raise, and people, will call on the action, will eventually come back to you. Now, you re-raise. Now, why not? You've got the strongest hand, you've got a pair of aces. Statistically speaking, pair of aces wins about 75% of the time. Now, the original raiser will either check or go in over the top, or even possibly go all in, which is pretty damn good from where you're sitting. You want him to do that because you've got him beat. Basically, from the early position on the table, you just want to be a little bit cautious. You want to see what other people are doing before you actually jump in there, because you've got nothing to go on at the end of the day when you're at the start. Now, things change when you get to that mid to late position. Okay, you can't win without strong starting hands. That's obviously a given, right? You should raise before the flop with any pair of aces, kings, queens, jacks, and tens. All right. You can re-raise the hand if you're holding a pair of aces, kings, or queens in your hand, and someone has already raised their hand. Okay. Now I can go into all these different things that you can go and do and so forth, but probably the quickest way for you to actually really understand pre-flop strategy is to give you a bit of a guide. Now on screen now you'll see a table that we have that ranks different types of hands. Okay, and underneath that you'll see a couple of small other tables. Now those tables reflect early, middle, and late positions. You'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see open the betting, call the raise, and raise a re-raise. Now within those subheadings and those positions, you'll see the hands from the table up top that you should be playing. Okay, and then you'll see another table underneath that for when you're actually in the blinds as well. Okay, so the pre-flop strategy grid has been put together really just to show you and give you an idea of where to start, because there is a lot of things that you need to keep in mind in regards to starting hands and where you actually are on the table. Okay, things change dramatically as you move around the table. But this guide's been, or the grid rather, has been put together for a full table of about 9 to 10 players. Things change as less and less players are actually on the table. Okay, so say for example you're at a sit and go table with about 5 people. You're dealt a king queen. Now normally that plays as a E priority ranking hand, which you don't really do anything. Okay, you only really probably might look at an E ranked hand if you're in late position. But that king queen hand will move up to about a C ranking. So usually at least a minimum, hands will move up at least one when you're getting further down, when there are less and less people, and sometimes even 2 priority rankings higher as well. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when it comes to pre-flop strategy is, okay, where you're sitting. You got to be very, very cautious when you're sitting. Now, the further you get around the table and the later position you sit in, you can become a bit more open, you can be a bit more aggressive, and you can try things out because you can see what other people are doing. Okay, but if you are a bit of a beginner and you're not really sure about how to play the pre-flop, stick to this table, stick to this, and you will you will do well. I can guarantee it. Eventually, you won't need it, which is obviously where you want to be, but at least you've got something to go by. I highly recommend that you either take a print screen of this or you copy it down by hand or whatever you need to do, because it's a very, very valuable little tool that's been put together to help people out as well. So good luck with pre-flop. It's not as hard as you think. Again, it just comes down to experience and playing a little bit, but good luck, and I hope we'll see you at the tables, eh? So thanks a lot for checking out this video, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.